So, whilst walking to my local cinema, I realised I actually hadn't checked any films or times. So on the fly I whipped out my little cellular box of choice, only to realise there really wasn't much on. Hooray for January. Can't be January without backburner thrillers studio don't know what to do with a most in the title. Now, since The Imitation Game left the taste of porpoise shite in my mouth, I was going to try to see literally anything but the similarly award-hungry The Theory of Motor Neuron Disease. So it was either Kingsman's Secret Service, which really screams could be good, could be awful, or A Most Violent Year. So naturally I went with the more hipster choice, which is only slightly less awards hungry. However, as things rarely tend to go well in these affairs, they have to deal with an increasingly violent and unknown business competitor, as well as the ensuing investigation from the DA. Now, despite being set in the 80s, this film really wouldn't feel too uncomfortable amongst the thrillers from the 70s, especially Hoffman flicks Marathon Man and Sam Peckinpah's Straw Dogs. It's got all the tropes, you've got the extended foot chases, cutting back and forth, drawn out dialogue scenes around gloomy tables, a murky atmosphere, and I'll say it right now, sharp as shit direction that really give it that retro vibe while still remaining mostly fresh. Though I am pretty sure that there should be at least 50 shots where the World Trade Center should be in the background. As the title suggests, the film is indeed about violence, but not in that primal way. Abel Morales' relationship with violence isn't one of indulgence, but one of resistance. His entire character study and each of his interactions with everyone in the world are set within the framework of violence. And this struggle genuinely seems hard throughout the film. You will feel moments where you actually want him to relent and get grimy, especially as the looming threat to his business as well as his family grows and grows. You actually want him to take the law into his own hands. You want him to kill the mobsters, and if you're a misogynist, maybe even slap his wife around a bit. Seriously, the film teases this oddly frequently. Because on an immediate reactionary level, it seems like it would literally solve all of his problems straight away. And the movie takes a great amount of time to ask itself and the audience whether what he's doing is weak, and what it means for a man to be strong in face of danger in modern society. And the tension of whether he will crack is alone enough to carry the movie. But unlike Straw Dogs, and without giving away many of the film's best scenes, I'll just say, if you need your main character to act out your deepest violent sexual fantasies, this might not be the film for you. I also have to say it was also quite refreshing to see a character who actually had a bit of virtue and pride in a crime drama, rather than being the tried and tested ex-bad guy turned goodie who has to do one last job and get his hands dirty again. As like any post-Xmas, ooh look, there's actually one adult thing on today film, A Most Violent Year is anchored on strong performances throughout. Like last year's American Hustle, this film will succeed purely because Hollywood knows that if you chuck all the hot shit in one basket, it will draw the tickets regardless. However, this time they've gone more for the acting chop snob hotter shit actors rather than the box office draw hotter shit actors. But yeah, these cats are all critic gold at the moment and all on their A game in terms of their careers. Plus you've got Albert Brooks doing all the roles Gene Hackman turned down years ago. Also, Oscar Isaac may have looked a little young to be a dad for my liking. On the other hand though, I'm sure Chastain is super pleased that now that she's being designed by more directors than Benedict Cumberbatch, she's now being relegated to play mother roles. Come on, she's hot as hell. But to be fair, what a role. Chastain embodies every bad bitch you've ever known. The arguments between the leads in this movie are so raw and real, it's actually quite shocking. You know when you're watching a movie and you see something that hits so close to home, you know it actually had to come from a real place? This film is absolutely littered with little moments like that. The generic character introductions also annoy me a little. Like, how many times is a male protagonist going to be introduced via jogging? Hello, Marathon Man again. How many times is the female lead going to be introduced whilst doing her makeup at a mirror in her bedroom? And I kid you not, we first meet the implied mob boss in a barber's chair, getting his hair done, complete with barber who asks no questions when he's asked to leave so they can discuss business. As a whole, the film definitely felt like a much more mature version of Andrew Dominik's Killing Them Softly. Mature in the sense that it didn't automatically cast every soprano actor alive at the time. But yeah, A Most Violent Year. Is it a classic? Probably not. But lots of fantastic films aren't classics. The Coen Brothers' A Serious Man is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, but you'd be fucked to call it a classic. But just because it's a placeholder drama till the spring season comes doesn't mean it's not any good. What it is just a creative, back-to-basics character study that harkens back to a more golden era in cinema whilst challenging said era's views on how a character's arc should progress. It really is quite interesting, and like its sister, A Most film, it's actually very engaging and enjoyable throughout, despite not much actual action happening. Look, cards on the table. If you like good acting, or if you need any proof that these semi-established up-and-comers are the real shit, then definitely go see this one.